Okay, I'm just gonna let everybody trickle in. I see there are still some people joining. So I'll give it a couple more minutes and then we can kind of get started.
Cool. I did a webinar the other day with WealthBox, and we were talking before, and he's like, what should our icebreaker question be? I'm like, oh, that's fun.
That was, I think whenever I did mine with them, it was around Halloween. And it was, what is your favorite scary movie, like of all time?
Oh my gosh, I hate scary movies.
I know, I'm not really like, I kind of had to make one up on the fly. I was like, oh, what's the
Let's
first scary movie I can think
let's
of?
do an icebreaker, because I liked this one that we did last week, and I'm looking for a new show. So if
Ooh.
anybody has a show rec, I would love a new show.
Ooh, yeah. On any streaming service, I'm willing to fork out any amount of cash for a really good show. Honestly, I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. I have been watching Love is Blind.
Oh yeah, that's
car
that's
accident.
bad.
I can't look away.
That's bad. I have watched plenty Love is Blind. That's bad.
God. And the new
That's
season is
hilarious.
like, and then of course it's all over like every social platform I log into. It's like I actually can't get away from it. So I really jumped on that bandwagon this year.
I just watched all of the Yellowstone. So I did Yellowstone, and then the prequels, the 1883 and then 1923. They were fantastic.
For those of you who are just now joining, we're talking about, if you guys can put in the chat just as our little icebreaker question, what shows are you watching? Because we need new shows. And so I brought up Love is Blind.
And Matthew is seconding it. So we're all in that bad boat together.
Matthew gets it. Oh, no spoilers. Okay, I won't talk about it, but it's ridiculous, actually.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so funny. I feel so terrible when I watch those shows, and it's just so affirming to me that other people watch that garbage.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't look away and I get sucked in. My mother-in-law watches those, oh gosh, what are they called? Like 90 Day Fiance and Love After Lockup. Like, she's just a sucker for those, which I can't get into them, but they are. It's like she'll have them on when I'm over there, and I can't look away.
Oh, Suits. That's a good one.
This is a good one. Logan watches a lot of Suits. He loves that show. To me, it's just, I feel like the guy in it, that he had a horrible, in Suits, there's this guy and he's got this horrible character arc. He starts out I don't know what his name is, but he like starts out, he's such a nice guy, but everybody like steps on him. And then he like blackmails the main character by like season 3 or something, and is a complete, like a totally different person. He's kind of the villain of the show, and you just really start to hate him. Anyways, that's all I really know about Suits, but okay, are we ready? I think everybody's here. They're here to learn about operations, not best shows right now. Okay, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. For new faces, because I did see quite a few new names in the chat. My name is Ziara Burkett. I'm the Partner Relationship Manager with GReminders. We are an automated scheduling tool built for advisors to streamline their scheduling and reduce their no-shows. We work in tandem with your CRM. The idea is that you set us up once and we work all within the background of both your CRM and calendar. So with that, Kate, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll kind of let you just take it from here.
Thanks so much. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for the invitation. My name is Kate Guillen. I am the founder of Simplicity Ops. For those of you who don't know Simplicity, we partner with firms to build out an operational hub in your CRM. We believe that by utilizing your CRM as the operational hub, you can cut down on all of the unnecessary external places that you're going to manage your business to help you be more efficient, spend more time with your clients, and building a profitable business. And so that's what we do in a nutshell. And if, as CRM users, the CRM can't be all the things, right? There are some very key tech integrations that really enhance the user's experience within the CRM. And one of those integrations is GReminders, something that I'm very pleased to help our clients set up and integrate. And in my experience, I'm not even joking, by utilizing an online calendar tool, we've been able to save like tens of hours a week in manual back and forth scheduling. And so Zia has been a wonderful partner of ours the last couple of years to help us really implement the tool for our clients and build out our best practices for utilizing GReminders in combination with Redtail and Wealthbox. And so I guess topic of conversation today is how to use GReminders to streamline your new client onboarding process. So with that being said, Z, are you good if I jump in?
Please, yeah.
All right. So I guess the first thing that I want to mention here is when you are using an online calendar tool, and the best part about GReminders is its ability to directly integrate with Redtail and Wealthbox and push appointments to the calendar and automatically launch the corresponding workflows, okay? The reason, so obviously that's a huge time saver, but there's some organization that goes into making that happen. And I want to share with you best practice for using GReminders with these workflows, okay? And so one piece of advice that I'll give to you is having an individual GReminders link for each different type of meeting that you have, okay? So this is an example of like a new client onboarding process, right? We have our first like introductory or like qualifying phone call. We have them in for a discovery meeting. We put together a plan and review it with the client. We go through the paperwork process, all the back office stuff that happens after paperwork signed. And then we have a new client welcome meeting to welcome them to our firm and show them their client portal and their statement and when they can expect to hear from us, etc. Okay. And so the reason this is important is I oftentimes see practices have one long onboarding workflow that is like this process from soup to nuts. And in my experience, that don't work. All right. One, it's too lengthy. It's convoluted. It's clunky. There's too many outcomes. And it just doesn't allow for the flexibility that oftentimes your prospects need when going through this process, right? Like, I don't know about you, Z, but like, it's so rare that someone follows this like exactly perfect. Sometimes you need to jump ahead. Sometimes you need to go back. Sometimes the spouse isn't unavailable, so we're gonna have a second introductory call, whatever. But by having one long workflow, you really, it just makes it unnecessarily difficult when it's very easy to break this up into individual meeting links that correspond with the individual workflows that are in your CRM, okay? And so one of the other things that I want to show you here, I'm going to jump into GReminders for just a second and show you that I have individual meeting links for each different type of meeting that I have. So, and you'll see when I run through my workflow here in just a second, after I conclude an introductory call, it's going to ask me like, how are we moving forward? Are we having a discovery meeting? Are we jumping ahead? This is going to dictate the link that I send to the prospect to schedule the next meeting. Okay. And the reason this is so important is within these meeting links, I can set up parameters and specifications for these individual links. Because in my experience, not all of these meetings are equal. Not all of these meetings are the same. What goes into the prep, the day of, and the follow-up varies. And so let me give you an example. Like I could do 10 intro calls in a day. I love them. I like talking with people. I like getting to know people. There's not a whole lot of prep that goes into it. There's not a whole lot of follow-up. So like, let's set up the parameters in an intro call that I can do like 5 in a day. I don't want that same rule to be true in a plan presentation. When we're reviewing a financial plan, there's a lot of prep. There's a lot of, it's a 90-minute to a 2-hour conversation. Like, I don't want to do 4 of those in a day. I'm freaking wiped by the end of that day, right? So I can set up specifications for, how many meetings do I have in a day? How far in advance can somebody schedule? Particular to these individual links, which I think is super valuable. And you lose that if you have one long onboarding workflow and one onboarding meeting link. Y'all follow me? So in this example, I'm going to start at the very beginning, okay? A prospect has reached out or a prospect has visited our website, whatever the situation is, the experience looks like this. So let's say the prospect calls in and says, hey, I heard really great things about you, Z. I'd love to schedule some time on your calendar, all right? I'm going to open up GReminders and I'm going to schedule this appointment directly in GReminders. Best practice is, once you have this integrated with your CRM, all external meetings get booked in GReminders going forward. The only meetings that live on your Redtail calendar that you schedule on your Redtail or Wealthbox calendar are like internal team meetings, because when I schedule an internal team meeting, I can add all of my team members and they get a notification that they're expected to be in this meeting. For when you're scheduling an external appointment, whether it's a client, a prospect, a COI, your mom wants 10 minutes on your calendar, I don't know. Everything gets scheduled directly in GReminders because, all right, I'm gonna open this guy up. You can see my availability there. Catherine is my client today. Whether I schedule this for her or whether she schedules this herself, this is exactly what the page is gonna look like, okay? So her name is Catherine Beltran. She called in. She wants to get some time on my calendar. She heard good stuff about us and wants to schedule an introductory call. I've made this optional for this example, so I can schedule this. Slowly but surely. All right. She got a confirmation email saying that the meeting was scheduled with me 9:30 Friday, March 8th. And now the beautiful thing about this integration is GReminders integrates directly with Redtail. So it's pushing this appointment directly to my Redtail calendar. There's no more Outlook middleman. It is a direct integration. So when I go back to my Redtail calendar and I refresh, there's my appointment. Okay, it's a 30-minute call Friday morning at 9:30 with myself, Catherine, and you can see it has automatically linked Catherine's contact record. You know, the meet information's here and everything's pushed to my calendar. This has not previously been possible, you guys. Back in the day when GReminders wasn't available, I had to manually link contact records. I had to manually link workflows. This is a huge time saver. And the other piece here that is super helpful is now when I go to Catherine's contact record, what do you know? There's the appointment, and the slickest part of it all is it automatically fired off my workflow. So I could click here to see my workflow. I could go down here to see my workflow, but I'm going to open this guy up and I'm going to run you through what needs to happen in preparation for this meeting. All right. So, yep, we confirmed that it's on the calendar. We need to update the target date to be the date of the meeting so that this stuff fires off ahead of the meeting. All right. Now we get to the day of stuff. All right. And so you'll notice here that I do not have a step for have the meeting. All right. That kind of goes without saying. You have the meeting. I have found that when you have a step that says have the meeting, it oftentimes creates a bottleneck. So it goes from the prep to the day of stuff, which is after the conversation with the client, this is going to, or the prospect, this is going to go one of two ways. Either they are qualified or they are not qualified. For this example, I'm going to take you the long way, and I'm going to show you, hopefully most people that you talk to in an intro call are in fact qualified. And so now here's the things. I'm the advisor. Here's the things that need to happen. I need to send a follow-up email. So I can copy and paste this into my email. It was a pleasure to speak with you, learn about your family situation. You know, here are next steps, set expectations for this process. Fired that one off, boom. As you know, if it's not in your CRM, it did not happen. So here is your reminder to put in your meeting notes under the prospect's contact record. Okay, save and complete. Add any follow-up tasks if you needed to research something or prepare something ahead of a discovery meeting. Like, here's your reminder to put in the follow-up action items. And as you can see here, one of my favorite parts about workflows is it's able to pass hands. So now Courtney on my team, who's my like administrative person, needs to, you know, update their important information, update the opportunity tracker and show that they're moving up our prospect pipeline, make sure that the writing advisor and servicing advisor are accurate on this person's contact record. If we know where they were referred by, making sure we've captured that information. And if they're referred by a client or a COI or perhaps another prospect, we like to send a thank you note, thanking them for their trust in our organization. and let them know that we're going to be taking good care of that prospect. All right. So now we've done all of our follow-up action items post call. And we come to a fork in the road. So as you remember, I said we're going to have individual meeting links for each different type of meeting that we have. And you saw the consistency there. What it's called in GReminders, what the meetings are called in GReminders is also what we call them in Redtail, is also what we call the workflow. Okay, so now I've come to this fork in the road. What are we going to do here? All right, are we going to follow this, perfect process and go through the discovery meeting, or are we going to scratch that? They're a $20 million opportunity. They just want us to put together a plan. They'll email us all the documents that we would have reviewed during the discovery, and they want to just, keep pushing forward. This workflow is going to allow for that level of flexibility because we have individual workflows and individual links for this process. Y'all seeing how this comes together? Z, am I going too fast, or are you guys tracking with me?
No, so far everybody's keeping up. I'm kind of just answering some questions on the back end as people are having them, but I think it'd be worth chatting about once we're done here. I can bring them to everybody's attention.
Sweet. Okay, so next step in the process is to schedule the applicable meeting. All right, and so here we are going to, we determined if it was going to be a discovery, plan, presentation, implementation meeting. And so what this looks like is, I should have opened this up. Hey prospect, hope you have a good week. As promised, here is a link to insert the appropriate GReminders link here. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my page and I'm going to say, based on that workflow, we're moving forward with the discovery meeting. I'm going to copy that discovery meeting link. I'm going to put it into my email, and I'm going to fire off the email to the prospect. Save and complete this guy. And now, especially for a new revenue opportunity, it's not good enough to just like send the invitation and hope they get back to you. You can see here that a week later, this workflow is going to come back up in Courtney's world and make sure that this person actually scheduled. And she's not going to complete this step until this person has scheduled. So let's say it's the 15th, this comes back up. Courtney goes, oh, thank you for the reminder, workflow. This person has not scheduled. Shoot, good thing the workflow reminded me, so we're not missing a new revenue opportunity. I'm going to send a follow-up. Hope you're having a good week. I want to follow up and make sure that you received my meeting link. Insert GReminders meeting link again. And it's going to circle us back. It's going to take us in a loop here, because I literally do not want to forget to have these people schedule. This is new revenue to our firm. Nothing is more important than bringing in new revenue. So we do not want this appointment to slip through the cracks because the client is traveling or on vacation or just has been unresponsive. We're going to be their accountability partner until this meeting gets booked. So it's just looped back, and I'm going to complete it. And I'm going to, let's say that the second time we reached out, they did in fact book. It's going to complete this workflow because the client has scheduled the discovery meeting, which has now pushed to our calendar, linked to the client's contact record, and launched the discovery meeting workflow. You follow this same series over and over and over again until we get to the end. And at this point, we have determined what type of client they are, the level of servicing they're going to receive as a result of, their segment within our book of business. And we've set up a recurring review schedule that reminds us to meet with them, quarterly, annually, semi-annually, whatever that looks like. And we are going to initiate this exact same process for our review meetings, where the administrative person gets a reminder that says schedule this month's reviews. We send out the email with the GReminders link, and then GReminders takes care of the rest. GReminders pushes to the calendar, links the contact, and automatically launches the workflow. It's that easy. And I'll tell you guys, it's a hell of a lot better than the way I used to do it, having to manually link contacts and manually launch workflows. We have solved a huge manual issue with the implementation, of this integration to both Redtail and Wealthbox. So that's that in a nutshell. I'm not going to bore everybody by doing this, 6 times over and over again to show you the flow. It's literally the exact same process for every single one of these links.
From the back end side, or from the GReminders side, a couple things that I always like to make financial advisors known of when we're talking about GReminders and what GReminders does and how it truly is built for advisors, and is applicable to the onboarding process, specifically the introductory meeting, and that's routing forms. So, you know, with advisors, maybe we have something on our website that says like book a call with me, but that's just pretty much usually with maybe Calendly or another automated scheduling system that just goes to one advisor. Maybe it's like a My Link page where it's got multiple different options for you to choose from. With GReminders, we have these really neat routing forms where, depending on the criteria that the prospect inputs to the questions that you build out, and I'll pull one up just to kind of show you what I mean. You can route that prospect to the right advisor. So really for offices that have maybe multiple locations, or they have advisors that service really specific account types, these can become very robust and something that I think a lot of people end up taking advantage of once they know how they work. So just to kind of show you, this is a standard routing form, right? You've got 2 questions. Let's get you to the right expert on our team. And depending how I answer this criteria is how it's going to route me to the correct advisor. So we see here, it's like an introductory meeting with this guy. But if I were to change how I answer these questions, that will change the outcome of who I see and when they're available, obviously, for this kind of meeting. That, as well as the teams aspect of GReminders, a lot of advisories have multiple teams, whether they be outlined like this, where they've got a Medicare team, an operations team, advisors that only do intro appointments, and maybe that's like a round robin type of event that bounces from calendar to calendar. Or maybe it's something like this, where you've got advisor and CSA, or advisor and operations team member. You can build these out, and then within those teams have your individual appointments. So then this is your team link. So there's these small, you know, intricate ways that I think GReminders is trying to tackle the way that advisors are, you know, standardizing their processes or offering their meetings. So yeah, I wanted to point that out as we were.
I think that's really helpful. And I want to piggyback on that for a second, because if you saw like my flow of meetings, like the intro call I have found is usually done with like a single advisor, somebody, the round robin makes a lot of sense. But like a discovery meeting, a planning meeting often has like a servicing advisor or a planner in those meetings. And what I love is having a team link for the lead advisor and the planner, so that when the prospect receives that link, they have visibility to slots that are only open when both advisors are available.
Yes. Yeah.
So slick, and helpful. So yeah, keep that in mind. The team functionality is awesome.
So we did have a couple questions come in. We are a hybrid office with 2 compliance departments. Can GReminders be archived by more than one solution, Smarsh and Global Relay? The short answer to that is yes. I definitely recommend reaching out to one of our CSRs, Sandy, Adam, or Serena. You can do that by booking a demo or on our website at greminders.com. They can take you through the entire compliance process. In short, we have a weekly compliance digest that is the correspondence of all reminders that go out from our system to your clients and prospects. And so that's weekly on Fridays, I believe, and that's emailed directly to you. But they can take you through the intricacies of multiple offices. But as it is right now, all correspondence is into one, and then that can be archived through like your email, like Global Relay, Smart, stuff like that.
I love that. And you brought up something that triggered something. Now I'm losing track. Oh, the confirmations. I love that you can customize the confirmations and the reminders. So like for a discovery meeting, let's say you need a prospect to like upload documents to their portal or whatever, you can customize the confirmations and the reminders to include that information. So like, in terms of cutting down on manualness, like you literally can eliminate an email from a team member by housing that and storing that in your GReminders template. I'll tell you a funny case study yesterday. Zira, Catherine and I were talking on my team, and she's working with the Wealth Box firm, and she was on a call with the client service person, and with the implementation of GReminders, you should use this for your marketing. With the implementation of GReminders, she saved five emails to a single client.
Wow.
5 emails. I was like, this is it. This is
Yeah.
gold. This is exactly why you have to have a tool like this. There were 5 touch points that she was making manually that was solved with this integration.
Which, and this brings up a use case I was just speaking with somebody about, but to that point, it's like, yeah, sure, maybe those are templated, and it's still such a number of clicks, and it's still time consuming, like those emails that we have maybe a cadence for. I was just speaking to an advisor that uses GReminders. They have like really been so great with like feature requests and saying, can GReminders do this, and like us kind of figuring out how to build that into the platform. And yeah, we have this really cool bulk send tool where you can export lists from your CRM, and then you can like bulk send. So like this is really powerful for something like annual reviews, right? Where you can just export your next month's annual reviews and then send out a text notification or an email that says, whatever your normal template is, right? For something like that, that's, oh, it's time to get you in for April annual review. Anyways, she went from sending like 100 emails every month, like for her annual review time, to just putting them in the bulk send and sending it out. And then she also doesn't even have to handle the scheduling. So it's like, it takes away from the actual data point, right? Where you're sitting there and you're typing or templating and copying and pasting, doing it 100 times, to you're just pasting it into a list and then we do everything for you. So yeah, it like really cuts down a considerable amount of time. Okay,
it's so
one
true.
other
It's
question.
very valuable.
How do you create multiple advisor teams and add additional contacts to these meetings in GReminders? Also, how can you link PDFs or documents to the follow-up reminder emails when prospects schedule? So, okay, the first part of that question, how can you create multiple advisor teams and add additional contacts to these meetings? So to create those individual teams, you'll just go right to your Teams tab under Management here. So where I was before, and you can just build the new team this way. So you can call this as it is here, and then you'll select all the people in your under your organization who belongs within that team. I already have this one, but you'll go into here. This is what it looks like. These are my members that are part of this. The settings for my team, who do they belong to? Do we have, you can make things look really nice and pretty. And then of course, all the reports on how many times this team has been used. But then within there, you'll create those booking links. You'll see, or you'll create the event types. So you'll see here, this is a round robin meeting, meaning it'll bounce from calendar to calendar until it finds a time on the team schedule. So to schedule with one of the advisors. You can also create all-together meetings or recurring round robins. So that's basically their scheduling meetings, there's a certain cadence, right, to how often they're coming in. And then to add people to that, which I believe was the other question, to add people to your events, you can do that when the person is scheduling. There's a little button to add a guest. Or you can do that manually within your CRM. You just open up the activity and link the contact. But that way, both of those will be added to the event. And then on the topic of reminders, and you had brought up a really great one in terms of it being follow-up. So something that we didn't really get to touch on here, but that I think is such an excellent way, especially for the onboarding process, is to utilize follow-up appointment notifications or reminders. So basically what happens is right after they come in for that introductory meeting, maybe I want them to immediately receive an email that says, thank you so much for coming in to our introductory meeting. It was such a pleasure to meet you. Maybe I've got some, some sort of messaging in there that makes it personalized to them. And then you can say, when you're ready, you can book your discovery meeting. And then because we've built out our discovery meeting criteria so perfectly, meaning they can't book with us, until 7 days out, because maybe we need a certain amount of time to, be able to prep for that meeting, then they can book that immediately. So you can URL anything into this text box. So this is a free form text box. You get these variables. This is a whole other conversation for another time whenever we talk about variables, but basically variables are these little guys here. And that's just a way to template all of your reminders. And you can just paste that URL. So if you're using something like Precise FP or just a regular PDF, you can paste that into here. So that way they can fill out that form and then send it back to you. I hope that answered that question. But I think that's everything. I think that, okay, wait, sorry, we have one more. When a prospect schedules, can it send a Zoom link for a meeting automatically? I saw in your example, it sent a Google Meet. Wasn't sure if that integrates with any others. Yep, Google Meet, Skype, Teams, Zoom. We integrate with all popular video web conferencing platforms. So Kate, do you have anything else?
You guys? I'm not even kidding.
Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate everybody jumping on and being a part of this. I hope everybody learned lots. I'll have this replay for you. It'll go out on Friday, so be on the lookout for that. But with that, that's all I got, Kate.
Thanks, guys. Super fun. Thanks for having me, Z. Looking forward to doing the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
See ya.